You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the sledging room. Did you forget or did you specifically remember that we're going to shoot the podcast again today? New shirt. Just right around the corner for Holi. Holi shopping. What is this?
I've rarely celebrated Holi.
Why are you being so shy talking about your new baby? Because every time you come to the sledging room, you're in something new.
My chips were down, Raj, because you both are going to peddle agenda today. So
What do you mean peddling
agenda?
It's kind of
What sort
the
of-
topic that we're going to talk about is
Shit.
This is a
Both of you-
disastrous way to defend yourself even before you've been attacked. I mean, nobody is attacking and nobody's peddling agendas, but why? This is the sledging room. Tough questions
course.
are asked.
Yeah.
No matter who
This
that
time,
is.
this time, this time, I have come to a realization that the thing is no more indefensible.
So why did you accuse me of peddling agenda?
You're
What
right.
agenda am I
That is
peddling?
just sledging you. So
And-
that
That
is how you
that is now your form of sledging.
sledging. Yeah.
By lying.
Shit, come on.
No, that's just being untruthful. That's not sledging.
True.
Sledging is banter. If you're asking the tough questions, Saurabh, if it amounts to sledging or peddling an agenda,
peddling, yeah.
I don't care what people like Akshay say. There are a lot of people like Akshay around. That's okay, but why not? I mean, if you haven't had a good day at work, wouldn't I be questioning you? Who's going to question our star cricketers? The onus lies on us.
Yeah.
It is.
But to lay context to
What we are going to discuss.
what has transpired over the last week, I mean, the Border-Gavaskar Trophy has been on for a month nearly.
Yes.
These test matches have been like the new age T20 format. They just last beyond.
The series has gone on for a month.
Look, the Nagpur and the Delhi test matches,
Yeah.
cumulatively, I don't think were played out even over 5 days.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Indore,
Indoor
2 days and
an hour.
It is shocking. But obviously the pitches have been the main fulcrum of discussion in India and Australia, especially in India after Indore.
Yeah.
The Indore test, the pitch was rated poor by the International Cricket Council. Obviously the board is BCCI is going to appeal. Rohit Sharma said India were playing to their strengths, but we'll come to all of that later. But the first question marks hang around Virat Kohli, Saurabh.
It is.
Yes, the pitches have been difficult to bat. Let's lay down the context, which is fine. I mean, batsmen from both sides have struggled. Apart from, let's say, Rohit Sharma
Exactly.
scored 100 in Nagpur. Usman Khwaja has been supremely impressive. The lower order has pulled India out of trouble so many times, and they did that in Nagpur and Delhi. Couldn't do that in Indore.
Yeah.
See what happened. Our batting lineup was totally exposed. But why is Virat Kohli's form so miserable against Australia in India? I mean, he has a fantastic record against Australia overall. He's scored 600s in Australia, 4 of them in that one season. One of them was on a very difficult pitch in 2018. Why does he not get those runs in India?
At least like earlier we said he was captaining the team. He was spending a lot of energy into, being aggressive.
Where is this energy going
Making
now?
these moves.
Where is this energy gone now? And it's not just about now. Obviously, Virat Kohli has played 10 test matches
Yeah.
before Ahmedabad.
Yes.
He does not even average 30. He
Yes.
scored
Most shocking
441
part.
runs against Australia, 10 tests at home. That is abysmal.
Absolutely.
And it's not
abysmal.
just about these pitches, right? It goes back to 2013.
Yes.
Why? What can we just figure out why? What's this great Virat Kohli mystery against Australia and India?
This question, I don't think anybody can answer it, because if you look into the stats and everything, what we have seen, like in this recent ongoing series, 5 times Virat Kohli has been dismissed, and all 5 times it has been an Australian spinner. 3 times Todd Murphy, 2 times Matthew Kuhneman.
Not even Nathan Lyon, the rookies.
Not Nathan Lyon.
Yeah.
So this Virat Kohli struggles against spin bowling, especially with the red ball in Indian conditions. I think it is all over there. Virat Kohli has not been able to score runs against his spinners. In Australia, what we see, the ball comes onto the bat. He likes those fast pitches. He scores those runs. He likes to take up the challenge of playing Australian pacers in their own conditions. But what happens when he comes back to his own conditions against Australian spinners or pacers? What has he done? He has failed. miserably.
How can you explain that, Raj? Like Saurabh said, it's very hard to explain.
I think
but if you were to put it down to some...
I think the only logic that I can see behind this bizarre stat is his growing inability against spin.
Yes.
I mean, it's Virat Kohli. Nobody wants to use the word inability, incompetence. But it is true. I mean, look at... Sitting from the outside, obviously, we will ask questions. And look at their predecessors, Saurav Ganguly, Sachin Tendulkar, Virendra Sehwag, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, MS Dhoni. They were such great players of spin. Go back to Virat Kohli's record against Australia at home since 2013. Obviously, look, he scored 100 against Australia in Chennai. That was in 2013. Great test match. MS Dhoni, I think it was the same test match where MS Dhoni scored that double 100. Superb knock. He followed that up with another half century. But since then, he struggled. Especially that last test series in 2016-17, 45 runs across 3 test matches, I think, is what he got.
Yes.
Struggled in Pune, struggled in Bangalore. Did not play the final test match in Dharamshala. Did not get enough in Ranchi. Then you go to Australia. You have a decent series. You obviously orchestrate an emphatic historic series victory a couple of years later. And then again, you're back in India. Again, you're struggling, right? So,
but he did score the double 100 against Bangladesh in that day-night test.
That was
2019.
So many years back. That was before the pandemic era.
If you have to go
There's
by
a different
stats,
lifetime.
he is the 3rd highest run getter for India in this series after Rohit and Aksar.
Which is saying what?
And
what I'm saying. What exactly?
That's exactly where I'm coming to.
And to put some perspective into this stat, Virat Kohli's last Test 50 came 15 innings ago.
January 2021 against South Africa. Even then, that wasn't a test match India won. Since Virat Kohli speaks so much about impact.
Completely abysmal show from the Indian batting.
But like he said a couple of years before, he's happy, he's content with the contributions that he's making to the team.
What
is that kind of bogging him down?
When cricketers, the elite athletes, when they give you a statement, you have to ask questions, you have to read between the lines. Why Virat Kohli? You pointed out how Virat Kohli has been the 3rd highest run scorer. Statistically, that's a number to look at. But when you dig deeper into the numbers, you're like, oh my goodness.
100 and odd some.
But look at the batting lineup, okay. Rohit Sharma is captain. He's barely played any test matches. But he's been the best top order batter for India in the BGT this year. KL Rahul, you have dropped him. I mean, yes, great that he was dropped. You have dropped Ajinkya Rahane. He's not been able to make a comeback yet. Pujara was dropped for the 2nd time in his career.
Yes.
He came back on the dint of some heavy runs in England, in county cricket in England. But again, you dropped him. Nevertheless, he came back in the Birmingham Test match, scored 100 in Bangladesh. Hasn't quite done a lot. Quite done a lot in the BGT here. Scored that 59, but again, no impact. Rohit Sharma, you could almost see he was flustered, right? So questions have been asked of everyone.
Raj, but one question I want to ask you.
So why aren't you going to ask questions of
when
Virat Kohli?
When you're nitpicking Virat Kohli here.
No, I'm not nitpicking. This is what I'm trying to say. Because you want to drown that out in noise. I'm saying that Rahane has been dropped. Pujara
I am glad that you spoke about Pujara and Rahane because
obviously, but nobody is asking questions of Virat Kohli. I mean, it's been over 3.5 years since.
But who has looked the best in this series?
Yeah, if looking good was a competition, right? Oh goodness. But looking good doesn't win you test matches.
But let me put this. Let me ask this question fairly. Had the predecessors that you were talking about, of course, they were legendary players of spin. You can't compare their technique with the current generation lot.
Why not?
Had they played on these pitches, Rohit Sharma was asked the same question after the Indore test. He kind of played it down, saying that they haven't played on these pitches, so they can't comment on this. So what do you think? The tests are ending in 2.5 days. And the average turn is like, when we were winning, both you and Rajashri, you and Saurabh were very happy that India won, and you questioned the inability of the foreign batters. Now we suddenly brought up the pitching.
I also question the ability of the India's batters.
Yes. Now when we were questioning the inability of Virat Kohli against spin, you have a problem.
No, I am saying
he is a problem.
I am saying, are we
but
being
he's saying
unfair
two different
to
things.
These? I'm mixing up two things. I'm asking my question.
You're saying two different things. You're talking about the earlier generation.
Yes.
And you're talking about this generation.
Exactly. Are we being unfair to the current lot by preparing? We are setting the batting lineup for failure.
Who is setting up those pitches?
the BCCI and the team management,
not the BCCI,
curators,
the team management,
the
is
captain,
getting the pitches that it wants.
Yes.
Where does the BCCI...
Are you setting up the batting unit for failure by providing these pitches?
Look,
how much would Sachin Tendulkar would have scored in
now you're saying
pitch
three
like
different
Indore?
things.
I'm asking,
First
are
off,
we being unfair to the current crop
No.
of
You're
batters?
saying three different things.
Yeah.
Saurabh, I'll come to you, but just to bash Akshay down.
Yes.
Three different things. What is the context? The context is you have to ask tough questions of Virat Kohli. Is he good against spin?
Yes.
How come he's perishing to these newcomers time and again? Yes, maybe he doesn't have a lot of data, but it's not that he's done a lot against experienced bowlers and experienced spinners. Spin is a problem. Left arm pace or spin has been a problem. Wrist spin has been a problem. Who's going to sort that out? Are you going to be able to sort that out by not practicing? The test match got over in 2 days and 1 hour.
Hearing this, if someone
2 days and 1 hour.
cricket,
2
listen to
days
this
and
now.
1 hour. No.
He would have thought that Virat Kohli is a batter who doesn't know how to put ball to bat.
It looks like it.
that.
It looks like it.
Right?
It looks like it over the last.
Your description of Virat Kohli, a man who has scored 3 ODI hundreds in the last 4 months.
By the way, are we talking about ODIs here? Come on, Akshay.
Don't mix formats.
Yeah.
By the way, he scored 400s in the last several months.
Yeah.
1 against Afghanistan, 1 against Bangladesh, 2 against Sri Lanka. Yet those hundreds have not really helped India in the BGT, as if my memory serves me right. So there goes your argument of hundreds against Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
The point is,
are we being unfair to these current generation?
First off, Virat Kohli, you haven't been unfair. No, you will drop Rahane, you will drop Pujara, you will drop KL Rahul, you will even ask questions of Rohit Sharma, but you cannot ask questions of Virat Kohli. Fine, he's got that 100. I mean, in the last episode, I also said that Virat Kohli tends to get a longer rope because remember, unlike a lot of other cricketers of his generation, he started doing very well from the word go. Yes. Maybe not in Test cricket, but in one-dayers. I remember in the early days, you could see that, oh my goodness, this is a talent. The reason why you're already comparing Shubman Gill to Virat Kohli is because of the start that Shubman Gill has had. Now, here is the thing. Which other country can you think of would someone who's even at Virat Kohli's level, not performing for so many years now, will get away? David Warner has faced intense criticism.
Yes.
In fact, I think it was Ricky Ponting who said Warner should have retired after the double 100 against South Africa. There are questions hanging around David Warner.
Yes.
Do you think David Warner is a lesser player? Okay, Virat Kohli, maybe, he's 5 pedestals above Warner. But do you think Warner is a bad player? Do you think Warner is a cricketer who can't bat? Obviously, Virat Kohli is a great batsman.
Kane Williamson has escaped criticism for quite a while, I think.
I mean,
for all that,
maybe
no,
the New Zealand press...
Questions were asked of him.
Or maybe the New Zealand press is a little gentle.
And then he scored 100 in those conditions against an English side. And that 1-run win, it was all orchestrated by this man.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it say, sort of, when you have, over the last year and a half or thereabouts, Rishabh Pant, Ravindra Jadeja have been your leading batsmen, which is great, by the way. Not to bring them down, but where is the contribution from the main batters? Again, why these specific questions of Virat Kohli? Are you good against spin? Are you good against left arm? Are you good against wrist spin specifically? Are you tentative? Is this a technical problem? Is this a mental problem? Where is the solution? Right? After 2014, after the horror tour of England, Saurabh, remember he went back to the drawing board, met up with Sachin Tendulkar, and there was a different side to Virat Kohli that you saw from 2014-15 onward. Where is this going now? Why? So why won't you ask questions of him?
Exactly.
And can't he play domestic cricket?
Where is the time?
He
takes a lot of breaks in between series.
We do compare Steve Smith and Virat Kohli, right? When Steve Smith failed in that first test and the second test also, when he came for the pre-match presser before the Indore test, you could hear him saying that I was very angry with the way I played. That is how you lead from the front if you are the best batter of your team. Have you seen Virat Kohli saying that?
I am happy with my contributions. Yeah, that statement is
he'll be probably very happy with the 44 he made in Delhi.
Yeah.
Looked good. No, I mean, exactly. That's a brilliant point. I mean, Steve Smith did come out and say that.
Yes.
And also remember, it is not just about Virat Kohli. It is about the way this Indian team management is working on it. After the Nagpur defeat, Australia wanted to get back on the field that very day.
Yes.
The pitch was watered. Now, whether that was tactical or was that miscommunication, we would never know.
Yeah.
But that is the nuance.
And also,
what is the Indian team doing?
Yeah.
The test match got over in 2 days.
You get breaks.
1 hour.
Yeah.
You get a break.
Yeah.
And you're assembling in Ahmedabad on the 6th. You start training from the afternoon of the 7th. You're going to be training on the 7th and the 8th. So you're ready enough to take on Australia spinners again.
That's kind of, what is Rahul Dravid all about? What
are
is Rohit Sharma
Are you
all
even
about?
preparing?
Yeah.
Even in the middle of the series, are you even prepared?
Yeah. As if you've scored 300s in the previous matches. You take a break. Everybody has been taking a break, right? It's not unfair to point just...
No, I'm not just talking about Virat Kohli here.
It's not just about Virat Kohli.
This is another story altogether, Saurabh.
And what is shocking is that this is the same Indian team, Virat Kohli and everyone, who used to put in those hard yards in the practice sessions after losing matches. I remember this happened when we played in Australia, when we played in South Africa, when we played in England. What has happened now? Why are we not even practicing against spin bowling?
Maybe after all the COVID restrictions.
No, you talked about the earlier generation. First off, go back to Tendulkar versus Shane Warne. My goodness. Go back to Ganguly and Dravid versus Muralitharan, and you would see some gems from both Ganguly and Dravid. Go back to Lakshman versus some of the greatest spinners of his era, and you would know who more often than not came out on top.
Sunil Gavaskar went a step ahead and told India Today that Lakshman is the best player of spin that he has ever seen.
Arguably. Greatest player of spin. What a player he was. I mean, Shane won in that 2001 Eden Test match. Go back and maybe you guys were very young. I wasn't allowed to watch that Test match because I was in the middle of my board examinations. I've watched those highlights time and time again. And what a knock that was. Not just that, even the half centuries that he scored in the Chennai Test in the same series. That was a turning pitch.
Even in that Mumbai Test that we won on a ranked turner, his 70-odd, 60-odd was the turning point.
I mean, that's the question of preparation. Yeah. Are you prepared enough?
And also as a senior player, are you content with scoring those 30s, 40s? Shouldn't you say that, no, I'm going to come...
Those are also questions to be asked of Virat Kohli.
Exactly.
What is impact?
Yes.
What is impact?
You have to score those runs.
I think in 2021 or something, when his form was questioned, he came out in the press and said, no, people can talk a lot about getting those milestones. Yes, you're not getting the milestones, but the contributions are also not coming, right? The same contributions that you spoke about, getting those important 70s and 80s. So Saurabh says in the last 15 innings, he hasn't scored a 50, he hasn't gone past 50.
Yeah.
So where is those contributions?
No, but we keep talking about preparation, no? Yeah. We keep talking about preparation.
We keep talking played about a Ranji match before his 100th test, right?
Exactly. He played for India A before that tour of before the series against Australia in 1998. I remember he scored that double 100. He whacked Shane Warne. Harbhajan Singh was made to play a game
in 2013, when he was about to retire, when he announced his retirement,
in Haryana,
he did not play a Ranji match. He was of that stature. He played a Ranji match. Yeah. And Virat Kohli, it's unfair to say that Virat Kohli is playing all three formats. He's not playing T20 formats now. He had the opportunity to play the last round of Ranji Trophy.
But unfair. But you are the one who's
No, I did not say that he doesn't have.
Himself.
I did not.
You're such Akshay questioning himself.
Let me put a mirror here. It's unfair to question. That's the thing now. That's the thing, right? So he's not playing T20Is. He's not being picked or he's dropped. The team management has been quite not open about it. And he takes multiple breaks between series. He can go back and play a couple of Ranji matches, right? When Pujara can go and play the county cricket.
Yeah, but you're not using the same yardstick to judge players.
Yes.
Pujara has a different yardstick. There's a different yardstick
is going
now.
Rahane this season
KL Rahul has been dropped.
Yeah.
You will even jump to question Rohit Sharma if he has a couple of poor test matches. Even if he's grappling with injuries, there'll be questions asked of him. But you cannot touch Virat Kohli because he scored 27 test match 100. It's great when he did. There was a lot of... We celebrated him. We applauded him. But for nearly 4 years, if a batsman hasn't scored a test match 100... How does that become defensible and why should there be a different yardstick, Saurabh?
Exactly. There should not be any different yardstick.
Doesn't that come down to preparation? Not just for Virat Kohli, by the way.
It's not just about Virat Kohli. It's about every Indian batter.
Look at someone like Shreyas Iyer.
Yes.
He was being hyped up as one of the India's best players of spin. And you get a platform like an India-Australia series. And what do? You disappoint.
Yes. And this batting lineup, especially this top order and the middle order, has failed completely against the 3 Australian spinners in all 3 test matches.
2 of them have just played 2 or 3 test matches.
And
both of them played debuts in the
As you
series.
rightly pointed out, if not for Ravindra Jadeja, Akshay Patel and R. Ashwin to some extent, we would not have won that Nagpur test and that Indore test also. Delhi test also.
And you know what? It is not just about India losing the Indore test match. I said that even after India won those 2 test matches. I said those flaws are being covered up.
Yes.
Because your lower order has been bailing you out consistently, not just in Nagpur and Delhi, even against England. R. Ashwin scored 100, Rishabh Pant scored 100, Jadeja scored that magnificent 175 against Sri Lanka. Again, Pant got runs there as well. There's no Pant in the BGT, you see the difference, massive difference. Right? Ashwin has scored vital runs. Akshar Patel is developing into a fine test batsman. He's definitely. I mean, he could easily slot into one of the top order.
Yeah, definitely.
Get rid of one of these guys, and Akshar Patel gets into a Washington Sundar. We're not even talking about him. He's still recovering from injury. That innings that Shardul and that partnership that Washington Sundar shared with Shardul Thakur in Brisbane again.
Even at home against England, Washington hit around 90 or
No, my point is, what have you done after the Indore debacle? What have you done? Nothing.
Virat has gone on to visit some holy shrines. That is okay.
Which is okay, great. I also visit temples. I am a great believer.
Why in the middle of a series? Why can't you practice? Why can't you get the basics right? Rohit Sharma is going out attending weddings. I don't understand this.
It looks like somebody has told Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, everybody by the way, come on, you have won the test series, you have reached the World Test Champion final, now you can go and party and enjoy whatever you want.
That is...
Let's talk about why will you think about the fourth test?
Had an Australian captain said that in Australia after being 2-0 up, we would have been, whoa, wait, now this is the time to draw it 2-2. If Australia managed to do that, that'll be
one of the greatest comebacks. Arguably one of the greatest comebacks.
It will be.
No, but here's the thing, right?
And also, Indian team management needs to be questioned for what has happened, and they have put undue pressure on themselves.
First question for the Indian team management, Saurabh, Akshay, especially for Rohit Sharma, when he said India wanted to play to their strengths after the Indore defeat, justifying the pitch. But the point is, hear me out. The point is this really India's strength? Go back to Pune 2017, India lost. Go back to Bangalore 2017, India were in a precarious position, they won.
We just managed to win that.
Just about managed to win. It was 75 runs, so they were in a low scoring
Bangalore,
test match.
right? Yes. First innings lead went to Australia.
Exactly. And Australia were chasing a lowish total, but the pitch had crumbled so badly, they lost. And India bowled spectacularly. Again, you come to Nagpur, your top order barring Rohit Sharma failed. In Delhi, none of your top order could really fire. Virat Kohli looked good in that 44. Again, you have to be bailed out by your lower order. Indore, the lower order couldn't stand up, exposed. Is this the best way to deal with Australia? Are you really playing to your strength? Because India's strength against Australia is very different. Now, look back at the other defeats over the last 11 years. You lost to England twice in 2012, once in 2021. Those pitches were flat to begin with. Spin came on as a factor later on in the test match. England spinners were better. They won. The batsmen were better. They won. Against Australia in extreme conditions, you have seen what happens, what has tended to happen. Go to Australia, the last two tours of Australia. You played on very competitive pitches. It was your skill set. The mind games against Australia are very important. India have become better than Australia in their mind games. Are you really playing to your strengths? Is a raging turner your only strength?
No. Had you played on a wicket that crumbled from, say, day 2 afternoon or day 3 morning, do you think Matt Kuhneman and Todd Murphy would have been able to pick up wickets on day 1?
I don't think it would.
Why are you setting up your own batting for failure?
Last time when we played England in Ahmedabad, that pitch for the last test match, 4th test match, I think those pitches are our strength. When your batters get those pitches where they can score runs in the first innings, and then your spinners know how to pick wickets on those wickets.
Yeah.
Raj, but why are we talking about it now? Why did we not talk about it after the second test?
No, I talked about it.
We talked about it.
I did. We did. I talked about it in one of my other shows as well. I said, look, these batting flaws are being hidden right now. Your lower order is pulling you out of trouble consistently.
Regardless of whether you win or lose these test matches, it's not good watching at all, right?
No, it is not. I mean, look, but again, slamming the pitches here, I think is still unjustified. What has happened? There are two things that have happened. You have to realize that India spinners are better than Australia spinners. I would still say that. Yes, they outbowled India in Indore, but India spinners are better. Ashwin, genius. Jadeja, crazy good. Akshar Patel, a great understudy. He hasn't done much with the ball, but again, he hasn't bowled a lot.
Yes.
Right? So you also tend to lose your rhythm with that sort of outage in spells. Australia's batsmen are better. India's batsmen have been struggling against spin for years. This is not the first time this has happened. Go back the last 7-8 years, you'll see in extreme conditions, they have faltered. And by the way, in extreme conditions at home, the hosts will always be under pressure. Lords 2014, look at what happened in Lords in 2021. Look at Johannesburg in 2018. It was a minefield. It was a nightmare of a pitch. South Africa crumbled. The hosts will be under pressure on these surfaces. And as it is, your batsmen are so bad against spin, you're going to be exposed further. So the strength lies in typical Indian pitches where there are runs, where there's some reverse swing, and then the ball starts taking turn from late on day 2 or maybe the second half of day 3. India have done exceedingly well against Australia in these conditions, whether here or overseas.
So who do you think is, I'm repeating the question, but who do you think is asking for these pitches?
The captain.
Obviously, the captain, the team management.
Rohit Sharma said that. It was a collective decision from the team.
Obviously.
It was an uncaptain-like comment, I'm sorry, when you come out and say that. That's not a very statesman-like.
But this trend didn't start with only Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma. Virat and Ravi Shastri also
all captains
had these.
We in India believe that it is the prerogative of the hosts to play in conditions that suit them. But I think that's where those questions have to be asked. That is this your strength? Is this your real strength? Is this your only strength, Saurabh?
I don't think. And most importantly, this team management, whatever they have done, this pitch demand and everything, I don't think that they even understand that these rank turners are not their strength.
This is like a Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
You have a bad day. You start off with 109 in the first innings. It can come back to bite you.
It's horrible. That in the test, the way we've played, and especially if you ask me, frankly speaking, this has been one of the most uncompetitive test series between India and Australia in the recent years, which we have seen. Whatever happened on those 2 tours of Australia, before that also what
Even
happened.
2016-17 was fun to watch.
It was brilliant. And Virat Kohli, apart from Rohit Sharma, nobody has been scoring runs. How will you win test matches if your top order is not scoring runs? Australia has Usman Khwaja, Steve Smith, even
Travis Head looks so good.
Travis Head looks good. Marnus Lavashanan he has scored runs. I mean, you can't win test matches and you need to trust your bowlers. They don't need rank turners to pick wickets. They just don't need. They are not asking for it.
Are you disrespecting your spin capability?
You're disrespecting your batsman more.
Yes.
You're disrespecting your spin also.
Yes.
Because Ashwin, he likes to think. I think he also admits sometimes that he's a bit of an overthinker. But he likes to think. He likes to treat it like a game of chess. Setting up the field, Jadeja setting up his pace, all of that. But look at the confidence of the Australian batsmen. They failed in the first 2 test matches. Most of them didn't have a great test match in Indore either. But they have come to India on the back of some heavy duty runs in Australia, in Pakistan, even in Sri Lanka. Some of them scored runs there.
They did score runs.
But right?
Your batting
to win a test match in Sri Lanka, it's not easy for teams coming in from Australia and England. They did that. They won a series in Pakistan, even on those roads. Maybe, they just played.
They managed to produce a result.
So they have confidence of runs. Your batsmen do not have the confidence of runs.
And also, it's unfair to expect someone like a KL Rahul or even for that matter Virat Kohli to return to form on these minefields, right?
Exactly. And talking of strengths, by the way, these pitches, do you play on similar surfaces on the Ranji Trophy? Very rarely.
Exactly.
Your Ranji Trophy final had grass green top. In it.
Yeah.
And you're saying you're playing to your strengths. Over the last 8 to 10 years, I think the nature of the pitches in first class cricket has also changed. You don't play on rank turners because you want to make sure that your batsmen are adept at playing seam and movement and swing overseas. So this is not really your strength. Your rating turners, extreme pitches cannot be your strength. Again, this is not to criticize the pitches because the curator gave you what you asked for. And I still hold true the value system of asking for pitches that suit your strength. My only point is that such extremely hostile pitches do not suit India's needs.
Yes.
Make them turning pitches, fine. Trouble Australia. Give the benefit to your bowlers, your batsmen. Do not forget about your batsmen.
Yes.
It's not disrespecting your batsmen, Akshay. It's disrespecting your spinners and putting your batsmen in too much of a quantity.
Yeah.
By the way, what sort of pitch are you expecting for Ahmedabad? 2 test matches that we have data from, 2 against England in 2021.
I personally feel this time we are not going to have a rank turner, especially after what happened in Indore.
Rank turner in Ahmedabad and another fantastic pitch in Ahmedabad.
Yes.
The day-night test match got over in 2 days. The 4th test match and the 2nd in Ahmedabad against England.
I believe this time the team management is going to ask for that 4th test match.
They are confused.
And that was a brilliant wicket. I thought that was a brilliant test match also. That also got over in 3 days.
I think they are confused already. They have confused the curator more. And Rohit will say,
no, Ahmedabad has 2 pitches.
Yeah.
Most cricket grounds, these pitches have more than 1 pitch to play on. But that Ahmedabad, that's a strict differentiator. 2-day surface, but also that was the pink ball.
Yes.
So the pink ball in India tends to do different.
Even the first day-night test was over in around 2.5.
That was in the Eden Gardens, but the paces held sway. But that was also because it was in November. But in Ahmedabad, the test match was, I think, around February or March, around the same time.
March only, yeah.
And it was a similar time when that fourth test match against England, the second in Ahmedabad, was played almost around the same time in the first week of March. So, which pitch could really...
I would suggest one thing. Forget this pitch. Forget the
pitch
talk about the pitch. Yes. See the ball and hit it. Don't think too much about all these things. We sometimes tend to
complicate and overcomplicate things.
Already the media has started like saying, which pitch will be used.
But I mean, that's the way. I mean, you're asking questions of the team management. Rahul Dravid, as a captain, was a smart captain. As a coach, just seemed to be a bit, I mean, just the exact opposite of the figure in that he's
done as a captain. Await him, the WTC final, if we qualify.
And most likely we will qualify.
But will Rohit Sharma settle on a green top now?
You already said it that we might play green.
But that was provided they won in Indore, right?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think he's going to settle for a green top.
It'll be an interesting conversation.
But why? Your bowlers can outbowl their pacers. Why can't they? Mitchell Stark, he's there. Australia don't have Pat
Cummins. Done that on two...
Australia don't have Josh
Hazelwood. Your pacers have done that on 2 successive tours of Australia.
Yeah. Australia don't have Josh Hazelwood. They don't have Pat Cummins.
And where we've hardly
used Siraj, Umesh, Shami.
Who we've hardly used. Yeah. Umesh was spectacular in that first innings and he didn't get to bowl until much later. Until Australia almost had the game in the pocket. Yeah. But, I mean, it's just so disappointing to look at some of these batsmen in Test cricket for India. There are some young guns waiting in the wings.
Yes.
Raj, before you go to that, let me ask you one question. I'll ask both of you. I know we don't even know the ABCD of batting and all that, as in skill-wise. But if you wanted Virat Kohli to do something, what would it be? What to overcome the lean patch? If you want him to do one thing to overcome his lean patch, be it preparation, be it technical skills, one thing he
has to go back to the drawing board. He has to go back to the drawing board. His, if you see compare a lot of his innings parallelly across the last 3 or 4 years, I often watch one specific innings of Virat Kohli's. One of those innings against England at home, where it was a turning pitch, and I think he scored. Double hundred was it, and then followed it up with almost another century. 2016.
Yes,
that was a fantastic pitch. It was in Mumbai. The pitch was turning, and the way Virat Kohli dealt with the spinners, his movement, the way he came to the pitch of the ball. I mean, even for a casual observer, that has gone missing.
Yes,
his feet are tentative. His footwork is so, it's so delicate right now that that is where you start to feel a little scared.
And he's not 34, right? He's not like towards the end of his career also, right?
I mean, this is the age when batsmen peak.
Yes.
So that is what I would like to see, a lot more assuredness in his footwork. Because right now his feet almost seem planted. I mean, look at the kind of dismissals. That second innings dismissal to Matt Kuhneman, was it, in Indore? That was a telling blow of what Virat Kohli's mental state could be.
Yes.
Versus his technical versus his technical flaws. So that dismissal opened up a lot of avenues. He went back to a ball, which was slightly over-pitched, I believe, if I remember right. He tried to pull it, missed the length completely. And he did not have to do that because just the ball before was a beautiful, exotic drive. So he's looked good in patches, but looking good is not going to be enough to win your test matches against Australia.
Yes.
Is it a confidence issue, Saurabh?
See, if you ask me, what I have seen of Virat Kohli in last 13-14 years, Virat Kohli's career is full of comebacks. He's one of those players who has always made improvements in his game. Be it playing a spin or fast bowling. Right now, I personally feel the main issue is he has to deal with it mentally. Whatever has happened in Test cricket, whatever he has been doing in Test cricket, he, as a batter, he needs to understand what his strengths are. He at times I have seen him, he's like you just pointed out, he goes for these unnecessary shots. You don't have to play every ball in the same manner. You can and you have to play every ball according to the merit of the ball, right? And Virat Kohli, for what he has done his entire career, he can simply go back to the drawing board. He can look at his old videos, new videos, what mistakes he has been making, and he has got a lot of good people, good experts, India legends, from whom he can go and ask, what should I do? Like he went back to Sachin in 2014. Right now, he can also go. So that is something which he has to do.
Is he too big to go to a former player now? I don't know.
I mean, that's the call you have to take, right? Either it's ego or it's
Lack
your
of
pride
time.
or it's your determination to keep doing well for your country.
Yeah,
That's
I remember. Sorry to interrupt you. I remember Kevin Peterson was going bang against Australian pacers, but he failed against spinners in Indian conditions. He asked Rahul Dravid for a help. He got a letter and he followed that. He scored tons of runs.
Should he seek help from
a lot
Steven
of
Smith?
batsmen, a lot of
Or
overseas
Usman
batsmen
Khawaja.
speak to our experts because we've
Yeah.
had such luminaries.
Yeah. And do you
I
think
think-
Ricky Ponting didn't have a
I
good
think-
record in
I
India?
think-
But someone like Marco wouldn't help Virat.
I don't know, is it about this generation? Because a lot of people, even in Australia, have been wondering why
Yes.
these Aussie batters wouldn't go to speak to
Yes.
Hayden and Mark Waugh and all of these guys. Is it about this generation? I don't know.
Yeah, because they have a lot of data to crunch and all that.
Well, I mean, the data crunching hasn't shown a lot of. It's good old practice, I think. I mean,
do we have replacements, Raj? Like you, getting back to your old question, that question that you started. Are we lacking talents in the domestic circuit?
No. I mean, just look at the weight of runs in Ranji. I mean, I've heard people talk about some batters who've done well. I mean, even in the media circuit, by the way, we have such a shallow understanding of the domestic structure in certain quarters. You talk of the top run scorers. So every time you see somebody scoring over 800, 900 runs, you'd start talking about them. People have been talking about Vasadwa, Anushtup Majumdar. But all these guys are not, going to play for India because they've crossed a certain age.
Yeah, the age is not in there.
Mayank Agarwal is only 32. He's had a fantastic Ranji season, nearly 1,000 runs, so 990 runs. He's 31, 32.
But
Is
mine
he a
doesn't have
hopeful?
space,
Is he a
right?
comeback hopeful? Maybe. Maybe, because you're looking at KL Rahul didn't do well. Shubman Gill is somebody I think will now get along.
But Mayank
looking.
also has his overseas issues.
He
can't,
does.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of these guys have issues at home, and some of them tend to do very well overseas, and some of them guys who tend to do well overseas don't do very well at home.
I think you should start picking team like Australia. Bring Peter Handscomb from the cold.
But you have young guys. Yeah. You have someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal at number 3. Again, it was a record-breaking Irani Cup,
Yes.
right? But even before that, he's been
The
scoring.
Ranji Trophy, he has scored runs
Abhimanyu
consistently.
Ishwaran has been around for years, by the way.
Yes.
He's been around for years. He scored hundreds in
He's 27, 28.
27, 28,
And
back-to-back hundreds.
He
for
has
India
been with
in
your
Bangladesh.
test squad for last 3 years.
Not got a single opportunity.
Not a
He was there, and then you called in a replacement from India for England. He was there with the team.
Yes.
I don't know what that does to your confidence, but whatever. So and Sarfraz Khan.
Yes.
So you have these guys. Yashasvi Jaiswal as number 3.
And
Who
some
knows?
would
Maybe
say that Sarfraz Khan didn't score runs for India A when he was called up. But
again, I have my opinions there. To an extent, I agree that to an extent. But then what happens? Do you not give any weightage to Ranji Trophy at all? Our elite domestic cricket competition. So that has to count for something.
How many cricketers have got their debut while playing for Ranji sides? I think last time we got a Hanma Vihari or a Rishabh Pant or a Mayank Agarwal, 2017, 2018. I don't think we have been handing players
and we
test
handed
debuts on the
Surya
basis
Kumar
of...
Yadav a test cap.
Fantastic T20 cricket. That's all right.
Mixing
Shreyas
And
formats.
you've
Iyer-
not backed him also. He's out now. Shreyas Iyer
No, but again, I agree with that call too, because he was only going to be a fit-in for Shreyas Iyer. Had Shreyas Iyer been fit, I doubt he would have, Surya Kumar would have gotten a look in. Even with Ishan Kishan, he wouldn't have seen
But
Ishan
when
Kishan.
he gets the test cap ahead of someone who has been performing well in the middle order, Sarfaraz, Dhruv Shore. I don't know.
Dhruv Shore has been brilliant again. Young guy. But a lot of these older guys who are doing consistently well in Ranji, I mean, it happens.
And if you tell these guys to bat at number 4, number 5, they'll be more than happy to do it, right? They were just looking for an opportunity.
No, but even with Test cricket, you've seen India don't really make those wholesale changes. So you got to look at a player one by one. Pujara came in when Dravid was still in that side.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it has to happen with a couple of other players. It depends on how long you want to give Shreyas Iyer
Number 3.
that role. That in the middle order. So you have to look at a lot of other factors. You have Sarfraz, a talented middle order option. Yashasvi Jaiswal, maybe you'll look at him for another year or so,
Yes.
and hopefully he'll have a great Ranji season in the year to come. And then who knows? But
And
there are some
even
concerns.
somebody like Akshar Patel and Washington Sundar can be tried higher up the
Who
order
knows?
if you
I
want
mean,
a left-hander
I
in the
look
top.
of Washington Sundar in both these test matches in Brisbane and then in Ahmedabad, I think, or was it in Chennai?
Where
he scored.
Washington Sundar is a proper batter.
Yeah, it's a proper bat. He looks so good. And the way these guys play the spinners as well.
Yes.
It's actually very, very good to see. Left-handers, so what? I mean, it's okay. Sometimes you have to negotiate through that also. But I believe we've run out of time. But Akshay, your quick prediction for Ahmedabad. The kind of pitch you expect and quickly. What happens?
I'd say it would be a pitch that resembles Nagpur and Delhi, not like Indore. But India will lose and it'll be Australia 2-2.
You?
If you ask me, Australia are right now up in the sky. But I will back India to win the fourth test and reach the World Championship final.
Perfect.
And if you ask me about the pitch, it is going to be the same pitch which we used for the fourth test against England in 2021, I think.
Yes. So you're saying it will be a good pitch.
It will be a good pitch. Especially
Good
after
pitch.
Indore.
Good
No,
pitch.
I think I think it'll be a good pitch. Maybe it'll go for 3.5-4 days. Who knows?
Yes.
I want it to go for more than 3 days.
Yes, we all want.
And I think it'll be India wrapping it up 3-1 into the World Test Championship final. India versus Australia in England come June.
You've also made our schedules, otherwise you have to unnecessarily change it. Someone will come and ask you for a holiday.
Look, I always tend to look ahead and think of the positives. So why not? But yes, I mean, our listeners can also email to us on pods@India Today and ping us on 8588966996. And if you're consuming it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other listening platforms, please rate us, comment, leave your comments. It's all very well to see us on video, but also because, it's much easier. I was on a road trip. I listened to 2 of our podcasts. It was great fun. Driving on the Delhi Yamuna Expressway. No, seriously. I listened to 2 of our podcasts. So it was fun. And since Anna's not here, she's home for Holi. She promised us coffee on one of the episodes, so I got mine. So that's okay. We come into the sledging room if you're not a guest from outside India today. Unless if you work here, you have to get your own coffee. Yeah.
Hopefully next time when we come for the sledging room, we will be talking about India reaching
If you
the
ever
final.
come back as a guest, then you...
Then there's a chance of getting a coffee.
WTC
Otherwise
final.
get your own.
Yeah. Regardless of whether you win or not, you have the opportunity to go to the WTC final.
Please. WTC final. I'm worried about my coffee now. It's gotten cold. Anyway,
More pressing concerns. But thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Sledging Room. Come back to us for a lot more after the test match in Ahmedabad. Till then, have a great week. You are on India Today podcasts and you are in The Sledging Room.